Almost every day, the news about CELH is one and the same: lawsuits. Almost every day, you see a law firm sending you a message. If you have been a shareholder of CELH 2021, 2022, they will give you a date. Then you should contact them. They have a class action lawsuit against CELH and you may make money. I wasn't a shareholder of CELH back then, but today I am a shareholder of CELH, and I believe it is important to address this lawsuit question. What is happening, how it may affect CELH in the short term, in the long term, and of course, what does it mean for my investment, or maybe if you have been following this channel, your investment in CELH. Let's try to understand what's the lawsuit about. According to them, CELH management misled investors. They misled investors about the revenues of the company. I already talked about this when I made my first video about this company, that it seemed that the revenues at some point was getting higher and higher, but all of this was not true at all because CELH partnered with Pepsi for distribution, but they were not selling it to the end consumer. The Pepsi built a big inventory of products which were not sold, and now the reason why the revenues of CELH are going down is because Pepsi has been getting rid of this huge inventory that they built up. It was probably a mistake made by Pepsi that they overbought, but still, the investors or those lawyers, they think that they have been misled. CELH should have informed them that really the sales are not coming from end consumers but from Pepsi. I tried to see if CELH ever talk about this. Did they ever mention that it was because of Pepsi? And I look at all the reports in recent years, even the conference calls, they never mentioned that the increase in sales was because of inventory built up. So they should have made this effort to say it was not organic sales, it was because what Pepsi was doing. But they did not do that. And numerous times they got the question, were they happy about inventory levels? And they always said that they were happy with how Pepsi was handling things. So yes, there's a good case for a lawsuit there. Now, of course, the language has changed. Now the company is showing us that even though revenues are going down, organic sales are not going down. In a way, now they are telling us the truth because the truth makes them look better. But before, it was not the case. Personally, I don't think it was intentional. They were not here to mislead investors. This is what I think. That yes, they were telling us about those numbers by Pepsi. They should have mentioned that it was not organic sales. They should have mentioned that it was coming from Pepsi inventory build up. They did not mention it, but it was not for the intention of misleading investors. The intention was just to show that the company was doing well, and they thought that partnering with Pepsi really was going to increase the sales that much. And maybe it was Pepsi's fault to overbuy inventory. If you're overbuying inventory, you're the one that is going to suffer. So I believe it was a mistake made by Pepsi. They overbought inventory, and CELH, they were just happy that Pepsi is ordering more and more. They were just selling to Pepsi. So I believe this is what happened. They did not have that intention to mislead investors. But of course, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge here. It's not I who will decide what will happen with CELH or not. So what may happen? Of course, in the worst case scenario, there could be a fine that they have to pay to settle with these investors. It is the United States. People like to sue each other there. And most of the time, they just expect to pay a settlement. They just think that, okay, it's a good way to make money. At the same time, this shows us something interesting about investors. Why are they never complaining when the stock price is going up? If let's say a company, it happens often even with Nvidia, the darling of Wall Street. With Nvidia, it happened that Nvidia had some forecast, but because of AI, they are doing much better. So why not sue Nvidia that they misled investors? You were happy making, let's say, $20,000 on your investment. Now you're making $60,000. You have been misled. You made more money than you expected. So let's sue the company. You never see such things. You're always going to see lawsuits when the investors lose money. It makes sense, of course, but just to show you, the investors also have this responsibility to do proper analysis, proper research. Like I always do, you can find everything on the Super Investors Club. I always talk about all my investments, all my research, all my analysis. Sometimes I make mistakes and people are going to comment there, tell me, okay, this is not right. Maybe you should think about it this way. What about those investors? They're investing in a company and they were buying CELH not on profits, not on multiples of profits, of earnings, not even multiples of revenues, but multiples of revenue growth. They see 25% annual revenue growth, they say, okay, let's pay 3 times on that. If you quoted that this is 36% annual revenue growth, they will pay 4 times that. So they were not buying the company based on earnings, not based on revenues, but on revenue growth, which a good investor should not do. And those investors who were holding CELH at the time, I believe they are just unhappy that they lost money. They did not do their homework. Another company that is facing lawsuits I have in my portfolio right now is Crocs. I will recommend you watch this video next. Have a nice day and goodbye.